So to begin with the scapula modeling, I've positioned image references, image planes from photographs I've taken of the scapula. They're not perfectly anatomical. They have a little distortion as all photos do, but I've also used planes like we did in earlier exercises to approximate the relative scale and position of features. Here's the top of the glenoid fossa. Here's the top of the glenoid fossa. Here's the inferior margin, inferior margin. Here's the width of the blade and the acromion, and there they are up above. So I'm going to use this frontal plane as my primary resource, the anterior view, only because I think the camera and my positioning were a little more accurate there. So we'll hide the planes for now and begin by creating a model of this, what I'm going to call the blade, this portion of the scapula. Create a polygon cube. Just going to click anywhere to create the cube and then use the scale tool. Now my scale tool has been set to a different setting, so I'm going to change it to world. And now I'm going to create a cube approximating that size. I'm using this sternal notch here as the top. I'm not going to include the glenoid fossa or the acromion in the blade in this first portion. I want to make it a little thinner, reduce its width to reflect a little more accurately what's shown in this lateral photograph. And then I'm going to divide it using the insert edge loop tool to give me some additional positions to allow me to modify it for features. So I'm looking again along the bottom of the glenoid fossa, looking for the base of the coracoid right there. And now I'm just going to actually add a couple more. I could mathematically do this, but I'm going to just eyeball just a general even distribution. And I'm going to leave it like that and then begin to use from the front view here. I'm going to select vertices and move them into position according to the front or anterior view that I've photographed here. To a certain extent, I'm trying to keep things relatively evenly spaced out. There's some features here like I want to try to follow that ridge. And then obviously the boundary. I don't need to get real tight in this low res view because you know when I smooth it, it's going to become much more. I'm going to just move this one edge just a little bit out. Okay, so that gives me a base. Now I'm going to grab the top face here, this face, and create this point. So choose extrude face, extrude it, scale it, move it, hit the letter G to repeat the operation, which means it's going to extrude a second time. Follow that same sequence. And that gives me, relatively speaking, a very simple version of the blade. It's a little thicker than it needs to be, but right now I'm going to leave it like that and begin to work with other areas. I mentioned using this area as the base of the coracoid. I may have to, I think I'm going to add one more edge loop here to represent that base. That will also give me more vertices so that I can get this shape a little more accurate. Okay. You know what? I'm going to undo that. I'll leave it like this for right now until I get the glenoid fossa, and then I'll put that next edge in. Alright, so that's enough for the base right now.